they've done it again. I had my doubts with new characters, new director, but they've done it again. Hi, everybody. My name's Jesse.
And I'm Adi.
And we just finished watching A Quiet Place Day 1. And this movie had everything that it needed to be A Quiet Place. Nothing felt off or different about it. It was great. It was perfect. It felt very belonging in the universe. Yeah. There we go. That's what I was looking for. My favorite thing, though, with the direction of this film that immediately hit me was that we are in a metropolitan area. And of course, we know that from the trailers, right? But we're finally not out in the farmland in a rural area. It feels almost like at this point, like, the creatures kind of belong there. They're very animalistic and everything. So it almost like didn't lose its sense of fear, but it's like, to me now that seeing it in a metropolitan area, in a city, in an industrial zone, like, it's almost scarier seeing these things just tear things apart.
Yeah, it like makes it more real. I thought it was interesting that, well, not interesting because of course they like decided to make it in Manhattan, but that gave way to like a lot of natural noise. I think it even starts off with saying like a quip or like a fun fact about like how New York just on a regular basis is 90 decibels, which is the sound of like a constant scream. So it's already loud. So I think they kind of did a good job juxtaposing a very loud place, a very loud city, reduced to like literally absolutely like quiet, like 0 decibels at all. So I thought that was interesting. And then there's a lot of instances or like scenes where things are falling off of the buildings because these like giant monsters are like falling from the sky and then trying to climb up the tall buildings. So there's a lot of other sound that can be produced just from buildings. Yeah, debris just from buildings, as opposed to like in the other two films they were in the middle of nowhere in nature, so you could really only create noise by like with like plants or something.
Yeah, and that is a good point because it's like it creates an extra, almost like not step, but layer of danger because you don't know when some debris is gonna fall near you.
You also that don't could really attract know what's on the ground or
So that is a good point.
The battle scenes that they laid out, there was like a bunch of cars, a bunch of broken glass everywhere. So literally any little step could make a sound.
Ruin your day. But yeah, on that note, to our next topic, characters. I absolutely loved who they picked for these roles. It was fantastic. We have Lupita, right?
Yeah, Lupita.
And is it? Yeah, and then Joseph Quinn from Stranger Things. And at first, you're kind of like, oh, he's fresh off of Stranger Things. Doesn't, at least to my knowledge, doesn't have much of anything else under his belt. But I thought he did a fantastic job. His facial expressions were giving me so much anxiety. Like, I had 2 Slim Jims in my pocket that I did not eat throughout my film because I was clenching on to her hand. Especially his scenes were so tense. It was fantastic. Yeah. And then Lupita is interpreting someone who is
hospice, end of life care.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a very depressing side on her. Someone who is ready to just give out, and then you have someone who is not ready to die.
Quite literally says, I don't want to die.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting joining of 2 characters, and their trip is a good one. It makes sense what is happening, what they're doing, and instead of just a typical survival, like I want to get from point A to point B, I feel like we see that a lot, especially I was thinking like this is very much Cloverfield, but they changed up the recipe by just eliminating like, hey, when you get from point A to point B, there's some disasters. There's point A, B, and C instead of just A, B. Mm-hmm. So I like that. It takes away from the predictability of it. And just like part 1, what I was telling you, another thing like right off the bat, as soon as the movie finished, what I really enjoyed about it was that it's much more character driven as opposed to, I think, like part 2
driven.
Part 2, I felt like it was not as character driven. A little bit more focus on the world and the monsters. Part 1 and this one both. Part 1 a little bit more, but this one also almost brought me to tears. I guess I could say it maybe did bring me to tears at the end. It was very emotional. And I liked that touch. You know, it's not just like constant, which is why I like A Quiet Place too. It's not just constant jump scares in your face. Like, yeah, there's one or two here or there, and it's obviously meant to be like a horror suspense film, but it's good in you don't lose the characters in the movie.
Yeah, I think they do a good job at staying true to themselves. Same thing with the extra bonus third character. I'm not sure if they were in the trailer, but I won't spoil
They
that.
are. I think they're yeah. We're talking about Mr. Kitty Cat here. Yeah, of course.
Frodo.
Yes, I forgot. Frodo.
He was
yes,
the main part of the movie.
Yes, I completely forgot to mention Frodo.
Yeah. Lupita's character has an emotional support cat or like a service cat that she takes everywhere, and the entire time she's like trying to like not save this cat specifically, but you know she's trying to like keep the cat from dying, and it leads her into some like interesting predicaments. But the cat also brings her a friend, and she like introduces the second main character to her, and then the cat's just very cute for the rest of the movie. So I think he was my favorite.
Yeah, I like when they add animals because you know they're not gonna die, like they cannot perish.
I'm really glad they didn't kill off the cat.
Yeah.
Spoiler, he lives.
Spoiler alert. This is definitely gonna be a spoiler talk one, so I will include that in.
Yeah, but yeah, I like the Joseph, right?
Joseph Quinn.
Joseph Quinn. I didn't recognize that he was from Stranger Things. He looks completely different to me. He doesn't have the long hair. He doesn't have the beer gut. But I think he did a good job playing his character, and I liked the character that they wrote for him. It was very human. It felt like, I don't know, just something like a kind person would do at the end, you know, in the end of the world, given Lupita's character's situation. He was just very human towards her.
Yeah, I love how it just, you know, a lot of these movies you immediately get characters who, or almost everybody goes straight into like survival mode. Everybody becomes almost like an immediate badass.
Yeah.
But like in these films, this one in particular, like we don't see everybody immediately like know what to do or stay calm. Like some people just can't keep their composure, and they do a great write of just writing. They do a great job of writing humans, of making it feel human, and you see a lot of like throughout the film human ignorance as well, just not willing to comply with certain things to try and stay alive. Well, to not give away much there, but yeah, they did a great job writing these characters. But enough of
the people.
Enough praise. Onto a little tiny thing that's been bugging me throughout the series is that they're quite selective with what they can or cannot hear when it comes to like these aliens super hearing, right? There's some scenes where I'm just like, how on earth, you know, they have this amazing sense of hearing, did they not hear, you know, the micro movements that person was making, or their heartbeat, or the something tiny, right? Or just also like the fact you brought up like debris earlier, is like, how are they not constantly distracted with all these other noises? Or if they drop something, are they smart enough to be like, oh, I dropped that was my noise, so I'm gonna leave it alone? It's very selective. Yeah, obviously they have brains, but like I feel like it's a little too selective.
Yeah. I think New York or Manhattan Island was also a good place for that, because there's always constant noise, whether it's like fountains or like, I don't know, the water, literally the river, boats or whatever. And there's a scene where there's two characters and they're hiding underneath a fountain, and I thought that was clever because if they're under the fountain, they're surrounded by constant noise, so it's kind of like safe to like whisper and to talk. And there's also another scene where it like rains, and one of the characters is like, oh hey, if we talk quieter than the rain, like, you know, it'll be fine. So I think they did a good job at using the kind of like sounds that need to happen in the world,
the environment,
and the environment to their advantage. And they did a good job at portraying that in like a very, very quiet world.
But yeah, other than that, I don't think I had any other gripes. I felt like I was judging the movie at a very surface level because I just really enjoyed it as a whole. So like I wasn't being super critical of it because I was like I walked in and I was like I I love this what's it called, this now trilogy, this world that they've built. So I was like, I already went in with, is it rose tinted glasses?
Yeah.
So
You already
shame on
liked it.
me for walking in
That's
liking
not
this film.
very movie reviewer.
Criticky of me, right? But alas, I will still give it a very honest review. But yeah, on that point, I will say that my score, I'll have to give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Wow.
I like the characters.
Almost
I like the
perfect.
world. It just knocks at one point just because of the selectiveness. And there was this one YouTube video I saw that like kind of ruins, like, how easily they could have been defeated if
Don't ruin it for
people had a brain
them.
in this universe, right? But let's pretend they don't have a brain. But anyways, I dock a point for that. But as a whole, the movie's great. It was emotional for me, and very heartfelt and very cute and silly at times.
Yes. The one thing the movie shows well is that silliness will always prevail. But yeah, I give it an 8 out of 10. Independently of the franchise, I thought it was a good movie. I thought the characters were very good, very well written, very good, like heartfelt, maybe like not message, but like sentiment that you like leave the theater with. But it was not what I thought it was going to be, and this is why I don't watch the trailers. I think
Have you seen them?
Well, yeah, like the last 4 or 5 movies we've seen, like there's been a trailer for this movie, and I don't remember what specific trailer it was because I think it was like two.
We'll need to talk about
different
afterwards what you thought. I'm curious what you thought it was gonna be.
We talked about it in the car a little bit. But I thought since it was like day one, I thought it was gonna be more focused on like how the aliens got here instead of like just a storyline while the aliens are happening in the background type of thing. I thought it was going to be more focused on the monsters. So I was kind of excited about that, and then it wasn't, which was kind of disappointing, but like the movie was still really good, so that's why I don't watch trailers, because then I get ideas. But yeah, overall very good. Would watch again. Maybe I don't think you need to watch this movie to watch the other two. I think it's just an independent movie on its own. In the same universe.
It is what you call a spin-off kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not like a prequel by any means. Yeah.
Well, it is technically a prequel.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
You can call it many things.
That's what I meant. You don't need to like watch it. It's not like Star Wars 3, 4, and 5 or whatever that are like actual prequels to the storyline.
This could have been.
But it's like an independent movie in that same universe. There's also another franchise where it's like the movies are happening in the same universe, but they have nothing to do with each other.
Cloverfield.
I was thinking about something else, but
but like I get what you mean. Like this could have been like its own like independent like alien movie.
Yeah, they could have just changed the aliens and it would have been
which is good. I mean, it shows that it works. I mean, in my opinion, that's pretty good.
Sad that there was no John Krasinski like feature though.
Cameo. We do get a cameo. I mean, this episode is already spoilery enough. I'll tell you afterwards, but you get a cameo, and it's kind of sad to see him because once you see him, you know his fate in the other films. So
you do.
But yeah, overall, fantastic movie. If you want to be on the edge of your seat for 2 hours and enjoy A Quiet Place, do check it out in theaters. Catch it in theaters. Put your pencils down. Put your mice down. Go buy yourself a ticket and go check it out in theaters. And let us know what you thought in the comments down below. Till next time.